Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is December 22nd. And right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Yet another frontal system moving across the region. The rain seems to be never ending. We do have some thunderstorms here across the southwest Oregon coast, just off the coastal water. Some of that could be moving in here over the next couple of hours. But if we look back across Pacific, this is our next strong low pressure system. It is really going to ramp up. It is going to spin up off our coast, and it's going to look glorious on the infrared satellite imagery. It's going to be considered a bomb cyclone, but I'm going to show you why that term should not be scary in of itself. And then we've got multiple systems after that as well. As we go through the end of the year, we have system after system. We got windstorm potential, flooding potential. We got monster waves towards the coastline. So we're going to dive into those details as we go through the video this morning. Right now, we do have some foggy areas east of the mountains. You guys know the drill there. Slow down, use your low beams. Seattle 46, Portland 48. And you see the precipitation, some gale warnings for the coastal areas as well. Now, Seattle 58 yesterday, just 1 degree off the record high. If we look at Hoquiam 55, tied the record high back in 1980, 1100ths of an inch. We're up over 8 inches so far for the month of December, and lots more to come, folks. Lots more. If we take a look at Spokane, 3.6 degrees above average so far for the month of December, even though we did get, 3 days of measurable snowfall equaling 2.7 inches. And look at that big wind gust. I mentioned that yesterday also. December 18th, 67 miles per hour out of the southwest. Still got a wind advisory for this afternoon for some of the coastal areas there to 50 miles per hour. And now some strong wording here as far as the high surf advisory goes. Breaking waves up to 30 feet. Destructive waves are possible. Watch out for your pets, your children, yourself. Do not enter the surf zone unless absolutely necessary. But what reason would that be? I don't even know. Big sneaker waves, beach erosion is possible. And this is going to continue on all the way on in towards the new year. Portland, Oregon, you can see the high surf advisory. There's some storm warnings out over the coastal waters as well. And look at some of the wording here from Medford, Oregon. This is updated today, 28 to 32 foot large breaking waves. Inundate beaches, push logs up the beach, and surge into normally dry areas. Use extreme caution, please. And I mentioned the fog there. Now, taking a look at the European 12Z, this is hot off the presses. You can see just very energetic wave activity spreading out towards the coastline as we have strong storm systems off our coast continuing to move in here. It seems to be never ending, and this is going to go, again, off and on all the way through the end of the year. Just some monster waves out there. So if you want some wave watching, it's a good time for that. But again, be very careful, and maybe we'll get a break as we go towards the very end of the year here, but way too early to determine that. And let me update this. This is the Pacific Ocean, the entire basin here. You can see the northern hemisphere. There's the Hawaiian Islands. There's Australia right there. So we are in our winter period. It is now becoming summer there across the southern hemisphere. You can see some of the gentle waves out there across some of the nice Pacific Ocean beaches and islands out there. But look at all this wave action spread it our way here. Strong jet stream, strong storm after storm moving towards the Pacific Northwest. So that is why we have this extended time period of big wave action coming towards our coastline. Now, I'm going to try to get not too far ahead of myself here. This is the 12Z GFS. Let's look to see what's coming first. This is today's frontal system as we speak, as we go through tonight. Tiny bit of a break here as we go through tomorrow, but then we are going to spread some more precipitation late tomorrow night back across the region. And as this low bombs out off our coastline, and when I beam bomb cyclone, this is all that I mean. 993 millibar low there. And if we go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, hours. It only takes 15 hours, and that thing is already dropped by more than 30 millibars. So that is just a rapidly developing storm. That's all that bomb cyclone status means. It doesn't mean anything in particular for any given location. It is just the rate of pressure drop versus time. And then again, that strong frontal system here, pretty strong pressure gradient across some of western BC as we go through Christmas Eve tomorrow as well. But those winds will largely miss southwest BC, Washington, and Oregon. But we still have some precipitation ongoing. Then an even more potent system here rolls in for the region. And look at the GFS wants to bring this storm development right off our coastline. Pretty intense pressure gradient with that one. The European, a little bit different. But look at this, Portland to Olympia. You're looking at 10 millibars there. That's an intense pressure gradient. There could be some really strong winds if that were to develop. And then you can also see that the precipitation seems to never end as we scroll off in towards the end of the forecast. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here. First things first, let's see what's coming tomorrow. Now, taking a look at the 10-meter wind gust. Look at these winds pick up as we go through tomorrow afternoon. You can see them really pick up across some of the foothill communities, typical areas like North Bend, Enumclaw, Black Diamond. And as you get off into the foothills of some of Snohomish, Whatcom, and Skagit County, you're going to get some of these strong winds. They're going to be out of kind of the southeast direction. That could translate across some of the northwest interior, straight to Georgia. The coastal areas could be getting some gusts up towards 50 miles per hour as well. But look at that. Some of this tries to get out towards Renton and Seattle and Everett a little bit on the European model. Now let's take a look at the North American model, a bit higher resolution here, and we'll put this into motion. And again, as we move through the day tomorrow, this is Monday, we start going to the afternoon hours, the east winds start kicking up, and some areas could be seeing winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Some of the individual locations are getting 70, Renton 48, Seattle 46. Look at that, you're getting Mukilteo and Everett could be up towards 50 miles per hour. So this could be causing some tree damage again. It's not that unsimilar versus the November 19th setup. It's just not that strong of a low. It's not as strong. So the damages will not be as intense, but still you could be getting some tree damage and some power outages out of this storm. So take caution again tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow night. If we take a look at what is known as a sounding, the red line is temperature. 39,000 feet is here. There's 18,000 feet. There's the surface. You see this? That's known as a temperature inversion. Why is this inversion here? You're like, why is it here? Well, if you take a look at the winds and the direction, you can tell why. Southeast at the surface or very close to it. And then you see the southerlies as you go up towards maybe, 4,000 or 5,000 feet. And then it starts to turn out of the southwest. So that's why that inversion is there. Big wind shift. And when you have this inversion, some of these strong east winds could be trapped underneath that inversion. You can bring some of the surfacing mountain wave activity back down towards the surface. It should not be as strong as the mountain wave rotors that were absolutely terrorizing the foothill communities and even further off to the west than that on November 19th. It should not be that event, but still it's going to get pretty windy for some locations and some damage is possible. Now, if we take a look at the jet stream at about 30,000 feet, Hawaiian Islands, Japan is to the left. There's Washington State and British Columbia. So here goes our deep low right there. Boom, off our coastline. There's the bomb cyclone as we go through tomorrow afternoon and night. And you see this very energetic jet stream bringing additional strong storms back into the Pacific Northwest. Just seems to never end as we go through the end of the year here. Multiple rounds of heavy precipitation, big wave action. And yes, we do have windstorm potential even for some areas like Seattle and Bellingham and Portland, Willamette Valley, and the coastal regions, of course, as well. Now, taking a wide look at things here as far as precipitable water is concerned, this is the GFS. There's our frontal system today. There's our strong low tomorrow with the east wind event and another round of precipitation. And then look at this monster plume. This atmospheric river stretches all the way back north of the Hawaiian Islands towards the Mariana Islands, all the way back towards the maritime continent, way off into places near Asia. They're just a very long atmospheric river. It's going to bring some intense precipitation amounts, and you can see system after system just continue to move in as we scroll towards the end of the month. Really going to have to watch the flooding concerns as we go towards the new year. And if we take a look at the European, this is hot off the presses, the 12Z run. Frontal system today, deep low, bomb cyclone off our coastline there. Strong frontal system all the way from British Columbia, all the way down towards California. And then we bring that next atmospheric river as we go through Christmas afternoon and night. And that just continues on through the 26th. Never ending rainfall, it seems. And we have windstorm potential. You can imagine it's pretty tight gradient. If you get a low pressure to spin up there, if we go through the 26th and 27th, you easily bring a windstorm into the area and additional deep lows approaching the coastline, storm after storm. And again, this goes all the way on in through the early portion of January here. We're on into January 3rd now, and there's still storms just battering the Pacific Northwest. So very active period. Looks like it's coming up. If we take a look at the GFS, it's something similar. There's our low pressure center tomorrow with the east wind event. And then we watch for that Christmas night atmospheric river, and look at the GFS wants to blow that storm up right off our coastline. Very intense pressure gradient right there. I mean, look at this. This would be a 10 millibar Portland to Olympia pressure gradient. Very windy conditions if that were to occur. And then you've got the flooding potential and the huge waves. So just absolutely wild weather here coming up over the next week plus for the region. Now, taking a look across the Gulf of Alaska, this may be one of the things that's saving us from a stronger windstorm is that the Gulf of Alaska trough, we're looking up in this period towards the 26th and the 27th. So the Gulf of Alaska trough, if we get this trough a little bit more progressive and closer to the west coast of British Columbia, we could bring some better windstorm potential in here. But again, it's going to be close enough that we could be doing it already. So maybe I should back up on that a little bit here after looking at this, because that's a pretty progressive trough moving across the region. Then you can see how we're just going to kind of be caught in the southwest flow as we continue on in through the end of the month. Looking at the GFS, total precipitation in inches. So I'm just going to scroll through this really quick as we go on in towards the end of the year. This is about the end of the year right there, and you can see plentiful amounts of precipitation, some of it coming kind of fast and furious as well, which I'll show you starting right now. Look at Hoquiam as we go through Christmas night into the 26th, some intense precipitation amounts. These are 24-hour totals, and this is just the first system, you guys. This is the one today. This is just that one, and you saw we have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 storms after that to go. Portland, something similar. Of course, you go inland and a bit less on the precipitation amounts, but still intense 24-hour totals. Seattle up over an inch on the mean or right around it. You can see Quileute on the Washington coast, 3.7 on the last night's control run there in a 24-hour period. You can see Chehalis, Centralia Airport. There's Arlington. There's Paradise up on Mount Rainier, and some of these snow levels are going to be on the higher side here as well. So that's just going to exacerbate some of the flooding. Vancouver Island, big amounts incoming to Fino. We look at Whistler up there in Canada as well. Snow levels are going to be better up there, though, versus some of Washington and Oregon. However, if we take a look at snow depth in inches, let's just kind of use this as a baseline here across Washington, 52, 56. I'm going to put this into motion, and you can see as we go through the next few days, you don't see those totals going up a lot. So that's how you know the snow levels are kind of be on the high side. You increase some of the snowpack a little bit here, but it's not a lot. Now we're going towards the end of the year, and we were at 52, 56. I mean, you've only added another foot there or so for some of the Cascades. So not a good look. I mean, some of these systems are going to be pretty warm rolling in here, and hopefully we start to get a pattern change as we go on in through January. As far as today is concerned, you can see above Snoqualmie Pass Sunday night. You see some of these snow levels maybe dropping back down a little bit there, but still even above Stevens Pass. And this is something we're going to be watching once we get to the right of this red line, where there's a 15-day cumulative precipitation here on the bottom axis and the 3-day cumulative there on the left axis. That's when you start worrying about some serious landslide potential across the Puget Sound. You could probably easily adjust this graph to show us a lot of the Willamette Valley here as well. But yeah, we're probably going to be on the right side of this here upcoming over the next week or so, and we will be watching it. Here's the 6 to 10 day above average. You can clearly see the above average. That should be no surprise. And then they have this kind of mixed bag here across the region, but who knows what's going to happen there. But anyway, I'll get this video out there. I was glad to get the European 12Z data run in there. We'll do my normal briefing here tomorrow. We'll get one more look at what the impacts are going to be with the storm spinning up off our coastline. Again, strong east winds coming in here, kind of southeast across some of the foothill communities. So we'll watch that one more time here again tomorrow. I am not sure if I'm going to chase maybe the coast tomorrow or try to get some of those big winds out of the east across some of the foothill communities of the Cascades. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. I will do my normal briefing tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.